and Kanye West speaking up on behalf of free thought, which is great, okay? And then Donald Trump gets involved because everything is amazing. So Donald Trump over at the White House, he's got nothing better to do. It's not like we have like a North Korean crisis or the stock market hasn't been volatile. So Trump gets involved. And I got to give the guy props. I got to give him kudos here. And the fact is, Donald Trump was always a pop culture president. This is the thing he likes most. It is the thing also that he is best at. You want to talk about making people lose their minds? Here's what Donald Trump did yesterday. So after Kanye tweeted out that Trump was his brother and that they both have dragon energy, again, amazing. Okay, Trump tweeted out, "Thank you, Kanye. Very cool." And then Trump tweeted again. He tweeted MAGA right after Kanye tweeted out a picture of his hat sign. He tweeted out MAGA, which is just awesome sauce. So well done, President Trump. So again, everyone is very confused, and the confusion yesterday was palpable and hilarious. So Shep Smith, reporting on this for Fox News, obviously has no idea what's going on, and it is so funny.
The couple of first families all getting together here. It's Kanye, Yeezy, and Kim. My guess is Kris Jenner gave a call. We don't have this, but you got to figure Kris Jenner gave a call. Don't you figure? Because this is getting up there now. Kanye's back, and Kris is involved, and Kim's in there. Now POTUS has tweeted. We'll see what happens.
And everyone in the world has the same reaction that Shep Smith is having yesterday on Twitter. And as I tweeted yesterday, everything is so stupid and wonderful at the same time. It's like life just became a corgi. It's incredible. So Sarah Huckabee Sanders was asked at the White House about Kanye West, which is just unbelievably great. And here is Sarah Huckabee being asked again at the White House, the seat of government for the free world, about Kanye West, a guy who's sometimes rhymes words, and his support for President Trump. Here we go.
Rap superstar Kanye West has been in the news lately for supporting the president and expressing his admiration for the president.
Covering all range of topics today.
I'm curious whether the president has reached out to Kanye West and whether he'd be willing to meet with him at the White House.
I don't know of any conversation that they've had over the last week or so. I'll keep you posted if that changes anytime. Matthew?
Okay, so let me just say this. I would not be surprised to see Kim and Kanye at the White House in the near future. I just would not be surprised if that is something that happens, because how could it not, okay? We ended this particular episode of Trump Season 3 on a cliffhanger. Will they go to the White House? We got to fulfill that cliffhanger. It's just incredible. So the best part of all of this by far has been the reaction of the left. So the left cannot believe this. The left cannot believe that Kanye would step off the reservation, as Hillary Clinton once said, step off the thought plantation. Okay, they just can't believe it. How possibly could Kanye West be talking in terms that people on the left don't like? It's just crazy. So there are a couple of editorials. I read you one yesterday about how Kanye West is now the darling of the alt-right. Now David Swerdlick is writing for the Washington Post, quote, Kanye West fell for the worst black Republican sales pitch there is. Here's why. And this is what he said. The best black Republican sales pitch I ever heard was from Niger Innis, then the spokesman for the Congress of Racial Equality, or CORE, the civil rights era organization led by his father, Roy Innis. The GOP is not for rich people, he said during our conversation at the 2011 CPAC. It's for people who want to be rich. There are, of course, many working-class Republicans and many rich black Democrats, but it's a clever way to make a point. Striving black Americans ought to reconsider what the GOP has to offer. The worst black Republican sales pitch is the one Kanye West just fell for. Turning Point USA spokeswoman Candace Owens is one-woman revival of the trope that black Americans are slaves on the Democratic Party plantation. It's shop-worn, defies logic, and mainly highlights the shallow politics of those who subscribe to it. So then they go through a bunch of Republicans who have said that there's this thought plantation for Democrats where they have been inculcated to believe in a nation of victimization. Okay, well, listen, again, black people can think for themselves, but it is also true the Democratic Party has been pushing this message of victimization to every minority group that it can find, not just black folks, and a lot of people have been buying into it because it is flattering. It's flattering to believe that if there's a level of lack of success in a particular community, any community, that's because of victimization at the hands of somebody greater. You know, Trump does the same thing with working-class white folks in the Rust Belt. But, again, the left can't deal with this. So, again, it must be that I love that the argument of this piece is that black people have not been duped by the Democratic Party. Kanye West has been duped by Republicans. You can't have it both ways. Either everybody is capable of thinking for themselves, in which case give them credit, or people are being duped on all sides. So here's what Candace Owens said last week that sort of got Kanye's attention. Quote, victim mentality is not cool. I don't know why people like being oppressed. We're oppressed. 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow. By the way, none of you guys lived through that. Your grandparents did, and it's embarrassing that you utilize their history. You're not living through anything right now. Okay, and then Kanye West said, well, that's kind of true. And then Kanye West said, the truth is the numbers are in, okay? Police brutality is not an issue that is facing the black community whatsoever. Okay, and there's some truth to this also. Police violence, shooting of black men is not disproportionate to the amount of crime that's occurring in the black community. And the level of police violence against black folks is largely explainable by the fact that police are largely policing black communities where there are high levels of crime. It has been true throughout American history. Whenever there are disproportionate levels of violence against any particular community in the United States that are not explicitly based on racism, it's largely because there's a lot of crime in that community and the police are in that community a lot. In any case, the Washington Post can't believe it. They just can't believe it. It's just terrible. And so this must be that Kanye has fallen into the sunken place. They're not the only people saying this. Over at The Root, Damon Young writes, Kanye West doesn't care about black people. So it's amazing. Back in 2005, when he was saying black people were victimized by George W. Bush, Kanye West cared deeply about black people. But now that Kanye West doesn't seem like a Democrat anymore, then all of a sudden, Kanye West doesn't care about black people at all. So here's what this guy writes over at The Root, which I believe is a black-oriented website. He says, last year, Panama Jackson, a man who in the 14 years that we've known each other has become one of my friends, published a piece about his mother's support of Donald Trump and revealed how that ruined his relationship with her. Deciding to write this was very difficult for him. We had countless email, text, G-chat, and phone conversations about how his mother's politics affected him as he wrestled with whether to put these thoughts in print. And he said that I do not know if Kanye West is aware of the anger and the fury and the disgust and the terror that slogan, MAGA, along with the shirts and hats and bumper stickers its plasters on induces. I also do not know, as some have suggested, whether this is an elaborate publicity stunt or troll. I do know, however, that I don't give an F. Intent doesn't matter as much as action and effect. Kanye's recent actions have shown in clear and unambiguous fashion that he doesn't care about black people. I'm going to continue reading from this piece. Again, the left they're gone. I mean, you cut against their identity politics, and they cannot control themselves. So again, this writer from The Root, he says that Kanye doesn't care about black people. He says black people who have supported him and amplified him and even shielded him from and defended him against the type of people he's aligning himself with. Black people who watched him grow from the person with the name we didn't quite know how to pronounce, who kept getting production credits on Jay-Z and Cameron tracks, to arguably the most important person in hip-hop, black people who made him. Black people like Panama, who again ended a relationship with his own mother because of what her support of the man whom Kanye just called one of his favorite people represents. First of all, if you ended a relationship with your mom because your mom voted for Trump, there's something wrong with you. Yeah, if you ended your relationship with your mom because your mom voted for Hillary, there is something wrong with you. Hey, she's your mom. Don't be an idiot. But this just demonstrates the power of pop culture in the minds of the left. So it's funny. The left today is mocking the right. They're saying, oh, look at you guys. Now all of a sudden you're big Kanye fans. And there's some truth to that. All these people who are suddenly saying, oh, Kanye's a genius. Can't wait to see him at CPAC. Maybe he should speak at the RNC. Like, come on, guys. I mean, it's still Kanye. I mean, Kanye's Kanye. And you got to be real about who Kanye is. The guy is not Phi Beta Kappa. He is not the world's greatest thinker. I don't think he's a great philosopher. But he is somebody who is thinking differently from the prevailing culture, and he's speaking out clearly about it, which takes a fair bit of guts. And that, I think, we can appreciate. But when the left says, don't worship celebrity, there's a certain irony to it, because the reason they're so mad is because they worship celebrity. The left has assumed repeatedly, over and over and over, that everyone in pop culture is their supporter, and they've relied heavily on pop culture in order to push their politics. This is what they do. I wrote an entire book about this. Hollywood is replete with people who believe that it is their job to promote social justice warrioring in the form of their work, and if you disagree with them, they will throw you out. You will not get a job. The same thing is true in the music industry. And when somebody speaks out, they cannot stand it. They cannot abide it. And the same thing is true in terms of racial politics. So we've now heard that Kanye isn't a real black person. He doesn't care about black people anymore. Because Kanye, as a black man, thinks differently than you. Kanye, as a black man, thinks maybe Donald Trump isn't the worst person in the world. Now listen, I may not think Kanye is a great thinker. I may not agree with his assessment of Trump personally. But I do think that Kanye, speaking for himself, does not make him any less black than when he was speaking for himself 15 years ago or 20 years ago. The notion that if you agree with certain white people that you don't like, that other people of your race don't like about politics, that this makes you not a member of your own race, is so disparaging and so nasty and so gross. No wonder there are people running from this. And the left keeps doubling down on this. It is amazing. I have to share this tweet from a former head Obama speechwriter named John Lovett. So it's Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau is a former Obama speechwriter. He's also on Pod Save America. And here's what he tweeted. Stop giving Kanye the attention he's desperate for. Last time we did that, some huge bleep became president. Okay, so I will just point this out. when Republicans say this about, if they had said this about Kanye, about exactly Kanye, if they'd said, why in the world would you pay attention to Kanye? When Laura Ingraham said, why would we pay attention to LeBron James on politics? Shut up and dribble. When she said that about LeBron James, the entire world called Laura Ingraham a racist. She was called a racist for saying that a black man was wrong about politics or that he was unqualified to speak on politics. Jon Favreau, a former Obama speechwriter, says stop giving Kanye attention because he's some huge bleep, just like the huge bleep who's now president. And the entire left says, oh, okay, that's fine. So it turns out they're not about racial solidarity or racial tolerance at all. They're about political solidarity, and they use race as a proxy for politics. That's what this is really about.